Hello and welcome, everyone. This is Darius for Aranda. You're tuning in to You After Evolution, and it is an incredibly powerful new session today with an amazing guest. I think that is going to open up some incredible doorways to a set of entirely new possibilities. What if, try for a moment, you are already completely and fully divine? And what if the things that you've been doing or that we've all been doing actually no longer apply to us anymore? What if there were other paths, other ways, because of how the universe and the planet is opening up, that could radically accelerate our awakening and, in essence, turn on the abilities of that other masters and teachers of light have had? People like Jesus, Buddha, and Mary Magdalene. What if we had that ability? And what if now we are being discovered new templates, new downloads, new possibilities, new ways to actually energetically bypass the old ways of being and rapidly catapult? Now, you might say, well, Darius, you know what, that'd be great if I had the wisdom of a Buddha, but I just need to be able to pay my bills, or I just need to, be back into my vital health and energy, or I just need to find love, and I don't really care about being Buddha. Well, we're going to show you how a lot of these tools can actually help you to erase the patterns of the past and move in to the fullest expression of you. Because when you connect to this divine essence of what you are, the things that you really want, the things that are in your path, the things that keep you up at night, the desires of your heart, the passions you feel in the moments when you really feel alive, these things flow out as a natural state of your being. And to help us do that and really update us, as it's been a time of great change, of massive shifting and possibilities, is an amazing guest named Jill Renee. And she is going to show us how to stop chasing the spiritual traps and actually plug in to our full divinity right now, using some very powerful bypass tools and bypass the things that may be keeping us locked in to one reality. We're also going to show you exactly how you can take what masters of consciousness of all time did and actually use it to access your own divine light faster than you ever thought possible. And you're also going to get to understand what it is that we can plug into right now, activation-wise, to turn on more joy, more abundance, more peace, and more possibility. Our guest today, Jill Renee, is known as the Rebel Messenger, and she invites us into not just another dimension of ourselves, but another spectrum of our humanity. I shared in the opening, what if we've been looking at a grain of sand on the beach and thinking that this singular grain of sand is the entire cosmos? But if we pulled back a little and actually refocused our perspective, we'd realize that it's nothing but a tiny speck along a giant, endless beach. What would that mean for the possibilities and things in your life that you want to see come forward? Our guest, Jill Renee, is actually boldly setting the stage for 21st century spirituality, shaking up the transformation industry and ushering in a new way of being divine while also being wholly human. She embodies awareness, wisdom, and unconditional love to take all of, or many of, the current day spiritual teachings and put them on their head. She represents game-changing tools for bypassing the limitations of our age and directing ourselves to connect to our eternal energy field and our inherent sovereignty. Again, a hugely important word in this day and age. She is a published author, an amazing teacher. She's a quantum teacher, and she's also a professional intuitive who can plug into energy, and her often rebellious ideas come to life and awaken our soul of even the most advanced spiritual seeker. Her books and classes and messages are smart, humorous, and deep to stretch your heart and expand your energetic possibilities. She can also plug into people on the call and through this community, what we're doing as a group, with a laser beam. so we can actually remove the impediments to plugging in to God's source, experience true joy, true freedom, and more abundance and more of our true essence. I want to share what a lot of people have been saying about Jill. She works with many people in this industry who are teachers, masters, and healers. A lot of people don't realize this, but she is the teacher to teachers. And one person says the clarity that infiltrates every cell of your being and connects is absolutely amazing. That's what happened to me after the first call that we did, Jill. I am different. I am more of myself. I don't know how better to explain it. I just know it's awesome, and I can hardly wait for the next call. Jill, I am so grateful to you and the love you have for all humanity. Megan. Another person said, the chamber of light portion of the meditation is amazing. Lots of emotions came up as the welcome was received. Definitely feel that I am in the right place. Another person says, I can totally relate to what's happened. I felt things leave my body, including loneliness and sadness, and I must say, I needed this experience. I realize now that I am always with God, and I am divine, and the divine is me. Deborah. Well, with this, let's jump in and get started. I would love to hear where you're at, so write in to me at UWealth Revolution, write into us, uwealthrevolution.com/now, so we can direct this session and direct our time here today to help you in the most amazing way. Plus, get ready for an incredible activation we're going to be doing with our guest, and it all starts right now. Jill, welcome to UWealth Revolution.
I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Wow. For people that are not familiar with you, I want to start out a little bit about your story. How did you enter into where you are now, and was it always as awakened? Was it always as easy, perhaps, to hold maybe the vibratory state that you're in right now?
I didn't even use the word vibratory state before. So until I didn't meditate. I didn't know what a spirit guide was. I'd never heard that term before. And then around the age of 38, 39, I came in the middle of a really big crossroads in terms of my business career. So it could have been anything that what I call my team, my higher self energy, used. But we took that kind of unknown path which I should take for my work, and that unleashed a series of steps where I met an intuitive for the first time. I was like, wow, that was pretty cool. I signed up for an intuitive development class, and from the very first time I had a page full of information about somebody I'd never met before. And I was like, where did this come from? But Darius, it felt like I'd always done that. It felt like I was getting back on a bike again. It wasn't your typical intuitive information either. It was very soulful, related to their soul signature. It was like their soul signature saying, I'm so glad I'm here to get to talk to you. This is what I want you to know. This is how much I love you. With this problem, don't worry about it. With that problem, pay attention to it. It was so clear and so vast and so multidimensional in a way that I understand most readings really aren't. It's like I don't know where this came from, but yet I know exactly where it came from. I love that I had those first 38 years of my life being very normal and very mainstream because I can relate to different audiences. I know what it's like to pay bills still. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I left my corporate career by choice because I wanted to spend more time with my kids and spend more time on this work. This is real life, you guys. This making spirituality in human form. We don't have to go off in a cave. We don't have to hide ourselves from the world and get smart in our brains about wisdom and consciousness and Buddhism and different teachings. We don't need to do it that way. I know very little in my brain about spirituality because I didn't study it in this reality. Every time I thought about studying it, my team was just like, you don't need that, Jill. And what they said is, you're not here for that. You're not here to teach other people's teachings. You're going to help fill in the blanks of what hasn't been covered or what isn't suitable anymore to get everybody to the next level. So everything you get is going to be fresh and new and literally cutting edge because we all do, in these galactic council meetings where we're checking in, saying, I kind of feel stuck. What can I do next? And then we strategize. And I'm one of those people that says, I'll say it. I'll say the uncomfortable things. I'll say that this doesn't work anymore. I'll say that here's something else that we can try. And I'm I'm brave enough or maybe naive enough to not care what people think. I'll just say exactly what I'm told from my team.
Yeah. As this is coming in to you, I know we shared, you said something to me that was the number one thing you wanted people to realize today on this session, no matter where they're listening all over the world. What is that number one thing? And then we're gonna begin to open up some whole new portals and ways of receiving today. But what was that number one thing we talked about privately?
I may say it differently this time, so give me some
Sure.
latitude on that. But the number one thing I would love everyone here to know at the end of this call is that you get permission to change things as you go. I want you to loosen up your idea of how things have to be, or that this is the model. You guys, we break models all the time to give us more room for our authentic, soulful energy to be within our human exactly as it is. I'd like you to give yourself permission to say that something that you thought was working for you maybe isn't, or that something that has been working for you maybe isn't anymore.
Yeah. Really true. What is going on our planet as we talk about this new time? What is coming forward, and how is it affecting people in the spiritual space?
There's always something new on the planet, for sure. There collectively is a lot of, I want to say, backroom operations and backroom strategies. There are some things that we as humanity are revisiting, and you're seeing that. We saw that with Brexit. We saw that with the U.S. election. There has been this pattern of predictability in some cases, part of it manipulation and control at higher levels of humanity regarding what I call off-planet energies. And as more and more of us as humans are literally stepping into our soulfulness and claiming the light of God that we are and that we've always been, we are able to literally bypass some of those manipulation and control schemes that try to make humanity kind of herded like cattle into a narrow form of existence. Yes. So more and more of us, by claiming that light, we're allowing these energies to have these sort of wild card spontaneous moments. You guys, they're for our benefit. This reality is not naturally predictable. There are some predictable elements, obviously life, death, cycles of life, seasons of life, etc. But there's so much more that is completely open-ended, and we don't give ourselves enough credit, and we don't use those to our advantage.
Really powerful, and I think this is so true. You say you actually can feel Buddha, Jesus, Mary Magdalene, celebrating some of the things that we're going to be talking about today. What would they want us to know? What would be some of the things maybe they would want us to realize about ourselves?
You're amazing right now. This false notion that you had to get yourself perfect in order to be worthy of the light of God is complete and utter nonsense. The reason that we still talk about Buddha, the reason that we still talk about Jesus and Mary Magdalene and the other fellow masters of light, those are our siblings, by the way, is because they gave themselves permission to realize that being human meant there were some quirks and weirdness, and it's awkward here, and yet right alongside that is the beautiful, pure essence of God's love, light, and wellness right next to it. We don't need to clear out the house before the house cleaner comes. Just let that light in right now amidst what we are. But see, our brains have got this all twisted. Our brains, we've been telling ourselves maybe for decades that, yeah, I'm still clearing that. So they're not worried about that. Why are you worried about that? You don't need to clear everything before you claim that light that you are. You're amazing right now, and you've always been.
I love it. When people say you're rebellious in the industry of spiritual teachers, why do you think you have that reputation? What's going on? What are the rebellious ideas? What are the things that maybe we could slay today? Because I think every like month, it's like I just want to slay some sort of like spiritual sacred cow, because it always opens up all this new portal energy for everybody here at UL to totally like accelerate like massively fast, because we no longer need to play in the old vibration.
That's right. Okay, so I'm going to give one that my audience already knows, and then I want to come up with a new one, too, because I like to keep it fresh. Okay, so the one that I remember really well that came to me a few years ago, I was just doing things around my house. My kids were at school, and I was like, wait, because the law of attraction had always bothered me. Like I said, I didn't study it, but I'm out there in the industry. I hear my clients talk about it, and I'm like, so wait, what do you think about, what does law of attraction mean to you? And I never liked it, but I didn't know why. And all of a sudden, Metatron came through, and he was smiling at me, and he said, you have it yet? And I said, oh, dear God, we're not magnets. We're not magnets.
Mm.
And Metatron was like, you got it, sister. And I was like, we aren't magnets. We aren't here to attract. And he said, so what are you here for? And I said, we are creator energy in human form, and we make. We create. We don't just attract. We're more than a magnet. And literally, I felt like my entire field just click, click, click. It just completely opened up to another level of allowing that godliness in.
Wow.
Wow.
So if we're not magnets, what does that mean? How do we actually integrate that? What would that mean for people listening?
Okay. And this is the tricky part. So I do want to make sure everyone knows I'm not talking to your brain, okay? And that's uncomfortable for a lot of people. I'm talking to your heart-centered intellectual center, because that's the only place we've got in our humanness that can begin to grasp and conceive of the level of energy that we're working with here. Our brains are awesome, but it's kind of like asking a red, yellow, green stoplight to pretend it's purple. It just can't do it. It's not meant for that. So I love our brains. I'll do what I can, and I don't want to ignore the brains. It's awesome, but it can't get us to where we want to go. So what I mean by this is that there are energetic patterns that accompany different truths that we live by, truths that we may not even know we have. So I can see energetically when I'm working with somebody or even just hanging out with somebody that has the pattern of law of attraction, that if I just align myself right, I will attract beautiful things from the universe. I can see energetically how it's working for them, but more importantly, there is how it's not working for them, because that's not where the juice is. It takes a lot of effort to try to get that, like when we were kids with little magnifying glasses and or that little magnifying thing and trying to get the sun perfectly aligned. It's preoccupying, it's unnecessary, it's pedantic in a lot of ways. This opportunity for us to step into another truth and play with it of, okay, so if I'm not here to just align myself perfectly with something, that anywhere I am, anything I'm thinking, anything I'm doing or not doing, I am in alignment with a force of God that I actually can never be out of alignment with.
Yes, because, and I just got that, and I felt an energy open up in me, there's nothing that I'm going to do that's going to put me out of alignment with the power of God and Source then.
Amen.
Mm.
Amen.
I want everyone to feel into that. Like, we could say the words, but Jill, can you help them to feel into that perhaps, or maybe just let them have a moment of recognition, because that's a big portal, guys. That's like centuries and centuries of like, hey, I'm this powerful person. Let me get in front of you and God, because I need to help you reach it. You know, I need to give you the salvation. I mean, this is like centuries of humanity control grid that we just go, boop, goodbye.
Yeah. And, I mean, that takes some rebellion, to take the status quo standard teachings that everyone most everyone agrees with, and say, okay, I think we're ready for part 2, and this is going to make what we've been doing seem like child's play. So are we willing to step up, right? So what I would offer in this experience, I'm going to invite everyone to close your eyes. And just take one nice, deep cleansing breath with me here. And I'd like you to say out loud or to yourself, what if everything my brain knows isn't all there is? And what if I actually have permission to create new truths that help me get closer to everything I really want in my life? What if a lot or all of what I've been told about spirituality is outdated, not true, or maybe was never true? What if that doesn't mean that I'm a disloyal student? What if that means that I love in this reality enough to even bypass my own sense of right and wrong sometimes in terms of being loyal to a teacher or a teaching, when really our God essence is like, stick to those values of loving love. That's what matters. Go rogue where you need to. You will figure this out as you go. You're in uncharted territory anyway. Everything you've been longing for and loving about your life have been filled with moments where you said yes to you and no to someone else. You're not rejecting them. You're accepting God in you and in them. We get things wrong here. It's not about that. So what? So what? We get confused about things. We don't know everything we want to know. So what? Our higher selves aren't worried and fretting about that at all. That was never what this is about. This is about relaxing those beautiful brains and trusting that eternal light that we've always been and that we also are here.
Yeah,
so
I can feel
there
that.
is one important part right there is that we're going to, with every time I'm working with somebody, especially new, we run into those old beliefs, kind of like you think you cleaned the closet and then you keep going back to that closet door and you're like, there's still stuff in here. You're going to run into those old ideas, and that's totally okay. I want to give you the process, though, of how you face that, though, because that old idea, that old truth can be stubborn sometimes in letting it go.
Right.
So the new pattern wants to, A, feel secure. There's a big part of our inner child layers that want to make sure we're right. We're scared for being wrong. But that's misguided as well, because the higher self, there are so many things that we are afraid of getting wrong, and the higher self is meanwhile just saying, you know what, you guys, you can't get it wrong. You can't screw up your light in this reality. Don't worry about it. Explore, create, be. Go rogue, go rebellious where you need to. And that way, when you run into those old truths and beliefs, you can smile at it and say, hey, I know you, like an old friend. You're the one that was believing this, and I love you. We're going to try something else now, and we're just going to see how it goes. I love you. I'm not kicking you out of the house, but we're trying something else right now.
I totally accept that, and it feels very expansive to the audience because of how fast things are shifting. Actually holding on to different ideas and ideologies in ways that we think it is actually going to, and this is my own channel, going to be actually a detriment right now in this time, because so much is being stood on its head as the evolution accelerates. Now, I'm going to ask you to channel, plug in, and get some more guidance, because we shared that there were 3 things that could help people to radically shift and be in this totally new space. What is another thing that maybe you wanted to share that's coming forward as you plug in to the audience and their energy?
Okay, here we go. Everybody ready? Get ready. This is a big one.
Okay. Gosh.
A lot of what we thought about Earth and human incarnations is flawed, like inherently flawed. Most of us are walking around with this idea that if we're having a human incarnation, then we must not have been good enough to stay in heaven. That being here means that our soulfulness, yeah, you felt it, right?
I just felt it. Mm-hmm.
We don't talk about that, but we act like it all the time, the vast majority of humans, and it breaks my heart in a community like this, because I see how conscious and how amazingly expanded we are. And yet there's this ball and chain sort of experience of, well, it's a false humility too, Darius, because it's basically this idea of, well, we're all kind of in this together. We must be flawed or we wouldn't be here. Have you cleared your karma yet? And I'm still working on mine. Man, I think it's gone, and then it comes right back again. Do you know why it comes right back again? Because this reality was wired for separation. That thing that you want to clear, not you, Darius, but you in the audience, that thing that you don't like about yourself, that could actually be a part of your journey the whole time. And it doesn't have to be a thorn in your side. It can actually be something that serves you, that benefits you. It's not a sign that you're not amazing. It's not a sign that you're flawed. It's not a sign that you're not ready for whatever next level of spirituality. That's just a sign of being on earth. Jesus, Mary, Buddha, and the others, they knew that. We have forgotten that. We walk around here like we're only going to get so far. We're broken. We feel broken a lot, and that it gives evidence to that beautiful brain, gives evidence that we're not glorious in human form. But that's an incorrect interpretation. The actual interpretation is to give this reality a lot of credit for how it can separate us from our light while claiming the eternal light that's always been there. That's how you access your mastery, by realizing it's there even when you don't feel like it, even when you don't act like it, but it's still like another book on the bookshelf right next to it. One way, here's another kind of energetic, I'm going to call it a trick.
Okay. Oh, I love tricks.
Yeah,
okay.
It's a powerful trick. It happened with a client one time. I could see energetically that they were stacking like a stack of books that you have on your floor, and their light was underneath it. And there's all these other kind of volumes of, I'm not worthy, I mess up in this all the time, I'm not a good blank, and that light is buried underneath. And my team showed it to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can see why that's not working. And they said she's got to flip it. That's how you do it, Jill. And I was like, oh, that's right. So I'd like everybody to imagine that they're books of the layers of themselves in this humanness. They're not stacked on the floor. Flip it on its side in a horizontal bookcase where that light is just as easy to be reached as all the other layers of unconsciousness and separation and dis-ease that we have available here. They all fit together here. They're a part of being human.
Just to add a layer to another level of understanding, this is kind of like in the way that we see the idea of peeling the onion, like the divinity is within and it's surrounded by all these layers that have to be removed or peeled away. You're saying instead of imagining your light under a stack of books, put it all on the side and it's just going horizontal. It's just one thing that we can choose just as easily, just as effortlessly as any of the others.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because we've made this into a job. We've made spirituality and consciousness and spiritual experiencing, we've made it into a job of peeling that onion, of clearing those books to get into that light. And it's true that the light is within us, but our modality of doing it kept us from what we are. And that's not even fair. We deserve better than that.
Wow. I'll allow everyone just to plug that in. That is a huge shift, a really huge dimensional shift. We've got a few more. I've heard you talk about this idea of the divine human codex, CODEX. What in the world is that?
I've never used that word before, by the way. So as I was writing the information for your show, I was like, Codex, and I wrote it, and I said, ooh, that feels good. And Metatron's like, just wait. Okay, so what is the Divine Human Codex? And I don't know as Human Jill either, so I'm looking to Metatron, and he's smiling. Okay, here we go. The Divine Human Codex is a structure of human physicality that is one with the light of eternal, infinite, loving source creator. It actually is beyond the original blueprint of humanity. It's something different that we are bringing online, that we are creating, we for ourselves. And Metatron is saying, you guys, we can't, Metatron is, I'm using his first person here, we can't do this for you. You guys do this. So in your recognition of what Earth has been, what a human journey can be, what it has been, things that trip you up, and finally embracing this truth that all throughout your life you've been this beautiful vision of light, right alongside all the other things that you were when you didn't like yourself. that purity of divinity has always been a part of the equation. And by your, number one, being aware of it, by number two, you realizing this is non-linear. And number three, you're embracing this idea that you're taking humanity into levels it's never gone before. You set in motion the integration, the releasing of what we will call the Divine Human Codex. And what it means, probably more importantly than anything for this amazing advanced group here, is stop trying to be perfect. And Jesus just said amen. Jesus had a temper. He was rebellious. We forget about that.
Yes, yes, very true.
Right?
He ran the I guess the bankers out of the temple.
Out of the temple. That's exactly right.
Threw up tables. Overturned the tables.
Right. So think about a spiritual teacher that most of us are looking at. And I ran into this myself when somebody's like, well, you sound kind of angry. That doesn't sound very spiritual. And I'm just like, honey, I'm not playing. I don't do it that way. If Jesus can get angry and throw up tables, then I can get upset or annoyed by things in this reality. I'm not playing that perfect, all-white version of a spiritual guru in this reality. Do you know why? Because it never worked and it's not true. It's not about being perfect.
Yeah, so true. And it also cuts others off from their own spiritual truth, because then they try to be like you instead of divine essence, right? It's like they follow that light like a moth that is the false light, which is through the individual. Wow, really powerful things. Now, a lot of people writing in with questions about a lot of different things, and one of them is this area of abundance and possibilities. A lot of people writing about that. One person, just Tara, says, I need more help with abundance. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do, what I'm supposed to be. How can some of these ideas, how can this new human codex help with things when we are actually on a physical planet, physical space, and there is sort of the material aspects that we're trying to, in some way, connect, receive more of, experience?
That's right. Okay, I'm going to let Jesus take this one. There is another truth we'd ask this group to reconsider and reevaluate, and that's that if you're doing everything right, you'll have everything you want. That is a false goal from our perspective. It's also coming from a layer of the inner child that thinks it will really, really be happy if it gets everything that it wants for Christmas. And then the minute it gets everything it wants for Christmas, a day later, December 26th, that's right there saying, when's my birthday's in February? Okay, I want more now. This is hard for me to say, Darius, because I don't mean it to be disrespectful, and Jesus, of course, isn't meaning it that way either. So I want to own that part, that I may be really poking my finger in the eye of that inner child layer. That's like, but wait, I want all that stuff. This isn't about getting the stuff, you guys. This isn't about making it easy. This isn't about having things for free. It also isn't about working hard, right? Because we realized that was kind of a false storyline too. Oh, this is interesting. I'm just laughing at Jesus. He's like, this is a tough one. They asked a great question, Jill, and I'm like, you're so right. So, okay, let me just relax into this. It deserves a good answer. And Jesus is like, I've got it. Okay. This notion that if you're doing everything right, you'll have everything you want is not part of the framework on earth. I'm sorry to say that to you, and yet I love you and respect you far too much to lie to you. Now, so if the before story is once I get everything right, then I'll be happy, the after is happiness has actually been available to you, not only from right where you are, but right where you've always been. I'm not saying that to imply that you should judge yourself. I'm sharing that with you to help you access the mastery that's available to you no matter what bills are paid or not, no matter what your income is or isn't, no matter what style of house or quality of car that you have or don't have. You are setting conditions on this reality that are making it harder for you to accept and realize and appreciate the light and the love and the mastery that you are, that was never about the stuff. So when you don't get what you want, we see you judging yourself. We see you saying, I must have done something wrong. No. This reality has a lot of inner gears and inner working that keeps resources scarce. And we agree with you that it's high time that those false programs get bypassed. But you're making it about that in many cases instead of about the blessing of being human amidst things exactly as they are. I didn't have a nice car. I didn't even have a nice house. It wasn't about that. Why does it need to be about that now? And are you sure that that's true? Some of you talk about homemade gifts at Christmas and how that's such a beautiful thing. And yet, on your manifestation list is something bright and shiny that is made in a factory. Are you sure it's going to bring you that happiness? Are you positive? Relationships, human relationships, your human relationship with yourself is the prize that we would hope that you're really wishing for, that you're truly reassessing the beauty and the amazing, special person that you are. That's enough joy to last a lifetime of Christmases. Liking you, not just loving you, even the parts of you that seemingly are unlikable, that you laugh at that part of you and say, oh yeah, that's right, that's that know-it-all part of me, or that's that worker bee part of me. That part offers me this or offers me that. It's lovable. We want you to see that it's lovable. Darius, sorry if that was harsh. That was hard for me to say.
It felt perfect. Perfect.
Thank you.
Perfect
Thank
indeed.
You.
Wow. I'll just allow people to integrate some of that and whatever it means for you. We're going to continue. We're going to be doing a lot of activations here in a moment, or activation. There is something I want to dispel as well. Maybe this is a third, or maybe there's more to come out. But you've shared, I want to know about this idea that may keep humanity stuck a little bit about the divine feminine and masculine framework. Tell me about that. What does that mean when you say that there may not be this divine masculine feminine framework? Because that's one that I think a lot of people hold on to energetically. What does that mean?
Okay. So, and that's similar to the law of attraction. When I first heard it, I was like, there's something off
polarity.
about that, in my opinion.
Polarity.
I don't like it. Yeah, it is polarity. But we've made it advanced. We've made a polarized concept advanced and cool, quote unquote, and multidimensional, right? The way that we've done that, we've come up with this idea that, okay, there's human man, human woman, and then there's this divine man, divine woman, and then we called it masculine and feminine. But every time I looked at that, I was like, there's something off about this. And I said to my team, what is it about it that's off? And they said it's trying to project gender on a soulful energy base that has no gender. Humans have gender. Things in physical life have a masculine and a feminine based on reproduction. It's a fundamental of your world. But when you start to project that onto the heavenly realms, if you will, or the inner realms more accurately, because it's not out there, right? It's in there. It'll trip you up because there's the sense of comparing. There's a sense of void. And that is unnecessary, and it creates a really big roadblock. So I remember when I first started sharing around 2010, there was so much talk about divine feminine, embracing the divine feminine. And I was like, well, geez, if I were a dude, I wouldn't feel too cool about that. And I don't know if we meant it, but, I mean, my team has shown me scenarios and timelines of Earth where It was a matriarchy. It was pretty ugly too, you guys. So we get, in my opinion, we get confused about things. We make things harder than we need to. So when we think about our higher selves, when we think about our soul signature, it's very valuable to think about it not even in a gender-neutral way, where gender doesn't even equate. It doesn't even apply. And when I first heard that, then immediately within a day I heard someone talking about Mother Earth. And I said, Gaia, are you our mother? And she said, no, and I'm not even a woman. And I was like, okay, this makes it hard. What are you? And she said, I want to be your peer. Yes, I'm bigger than you. I'm not going to deny that. I am your sibling in this reality.
Whoa. Mm.
I'm not female. I'm not divine feminine. Mother Earth puts this me being closer to God. Yes, or matriarchal in this case, right? But I'm closer to God than you are, right? And I said, oh, I'm getting goosebumps. And I said, so you're not closer to God than we are? And she said, no, but you can pretend I am. And then I went to the sun.
You can pretend.
I am.
And you went to the sun, and what happened with the sun?
And I said, everybody talks about you as divine Mr. Sun, that you're the dad, you're the father figure. And he said, I think you already know my answer. And I said, I think I do. He said, I'm not a gender. And this is where I get frustrated, and I say this to my team. I said, well, it's easy for you guys to say, our entire language is based on masculine and feminine pronouns. And I don't want to call the sun it, or do I want to call Gaia it? So it's like we're forced into this he, she, him, her paradigm, and they just smile and say, you're right. This reality was created for separating of light, and splitting you up into genders is very useful for that goal. Now, this group, we're saying no to that. We're not here to be separate. We are distinct and unique, but we don't want to be separate from our light. So we're going to need to revisit all these different intricacies as they get in our way. It's a never-ending task, but again, it doesn't. I'm really encouraging everyone, please do not make it linear. Keep that book of light right next to these books of separation. They do go together. We know they go together because of the examples of Jesus, Buddha, and Mary Magdalene, among others. We can use that system. We don't have to know it all. We don't have to fix it all. We don't have to clear it all. We can just accept that somehow the way that we function in this reality doesn't look like light, and yet there is light there with every breath, with every thought, with every struggle, and with every success.
Wow. As you've worked with people, what do you see happen I know there's many, many more revolutionary ideas and shifts. I mean, we shared a couple, 2, 3, maybe 4. I mean, this just shatters like probably half of the teachings out there, but the same or more. But then also opens up a whole new connection because, like you said, we're no longer matriarchally or patriarchally putting ourselves in a different hierarchy from our divine self or divine essence. What happens with people when they begin to open up with this? What have you seen as people rapidly connect to these new ideas?
They're free. It's like that Christmas present. The light gets set free. Because everything about their structure is then allowing their human to align with the eternal light that they've always been, that they will always be, and that they are right now. So it literally is freedom. When I meet with a client, kind of a before and after, I can feel the structure of their mind. I can feel that inner layer of, I don't want to get this wrong. I'm here because I want to make sure I'm getting this right. I feel like I'm not quite there. I just want to make sure I'm not messing up here. Is my higher self upset with me? Our higher selves are never upset with us. Our higher selves are so deeply and gloriously compassionate that this reality is awesome. It's amazing at making us feel unworthy and separate from the light of source that we are. It was made for that. And everything I do is about helping them see that that's an option, but there's other options too. So I feel freedom. I feel just like relaxing. But I'm going to be honest, Darius, I have clients that totally get it. Everything that I share, they've done my classes, they've traveled with me on my trips, and yet their finances are not perfect. They're not living in the house on the hill with a gated community. That has not happened. I wish it would, just like they do. But there is somehow this acceptance, maybe more so some than others, that it's almost like, you know, maybe it was never about that.
Yeah. Just beautiful. And I've got to share, as you were opening up those doors, my computer crashed, which I usually take as a sign that we actually released some sort of electro grid, and the technology went, wah, we can't take it anymore. Humanity must stay, you know, in the confines of this electro grid of all these things. And we're like, no, not going to happen. Sorry, it's time to break the bounds of all that too. How amazing and how fitting, as we see so many things, as I said, and incredibly, that we thought were the only way or the only possibility just literally implode. There's so much more light that we're being called to bring in, and this is why the containers of the current systems are doing the opposite that we think and literally just blowing the lid off the thing. And really important, really amazing. Wow. I want to do this real quick. We're going to move into an activation. There's a lot more here, a lot more energy coming. I want to share just what people are sharing before we even get into the activation. Tanya says, oh, my gosh, this is wonderful. This feels liberating. It clicked in as true. I still beat myself up a bit for imperfection, but now that I am aware, I'm going to see what's going to happen. Thank you, Darius and Jill. Another person, this is basically just making me happy, really, really happy. Karen says, I'm loving the revelations. Thank you, Jill. This is mind-blowing in a good way. Mind-blowing. We're going to jump in and begin an activation. I haven't talked with you about this, but you are an intuitive, and you're connecting to angels, archangels, Christ, Buddha, many others. Mary Magdalene, how do you connect in? How does that information come into you? And then I'd also ask, why are they sending these signals right now to you and the planet?
Ooh, I have goosebumps just at your question, Darius. Okay, so how I do it, and the reason I want to share this is because that I feel it will be very helpful to everyone else. So here's another trick, okay? Yeah. Okay, and you may have to remind me that second question because I get deep into something and then I forget. Okay, so how do I do this? How do I connect? I called BS, I don't want to swear, I called BS on this idea that we have a set of spirit guides or guardians that protect us or work with us that are 3, 4, 5 beings. That didn't feel right to me, and I didn't know why, but I just knew it didn't feel right. And then later on in my experiencing, I did a meditation, and I closed my eyes, I went into my heart, and I said, I want to see my higher self. And I immediately was shown energetically this like Wembley Stadium experience of beings of light in every single seat. And I said, who are all of you? And they said, we're you. And I melted. I absolutely melted. And then a spokesperson came forward and she said, we will be anything you want us to be or that you will allow us to be, for you to have a life of Jill that meets your standards of love, of wanting to help other people, and whatever else matters to you. That matters to us. I have found in my work that every single person that resonates with my work resonates with that idea, that they are limitless in their higher self energy. So this idea of trying to figure out, like, how many guides do I have? What are their names? You guys, I'm being a little bit flippant here, but come on. Do you really think they walk around with name tags on? I will name them for you in my work, but I also don't want you to think that they are just a name, just like you are not just your name. So this notion that we are a physical representation of an endless, infinite stream of energy that is whatever we will allow ourselves to be is game-changing. So when you connect, let it be directly within yourself. No intermediary, by the way, because I called BS on that too, and I encourage you guys to consider that for yourselves. A lot of us walked away from modern-day Christianity as it's currently taught because we realized that they were putting Jesus in a role between us and God, or a minister or a priest between us and God. And when I said to Jesus, I said, why are they always putting somebody between us and God? And he said, I don't know. That's a great question. Do you want to do it that way? And I said, no. He said, good. That'll work out well for you then, Jill. I don't, as a spiritual messenger in this world, I don't want to be between you and God either. I want you to have a direct route to the source energy that you are. Now, there's another misconception, and so I'm gonna just call it out right here. That doesn't mean you'll get messages like I do. Part B, you don't have to. Your being the light of God in human form does not mean that you have to be a message receiver or a message creator. It doesn't have to mean that. You can put that criteria on it, but you'll probably be more dissatisfied than satisfied. That was never true. That connected means that you get messages, or that you're intuitive, or that you're psychic. Those are gifts of these dimensional ranges, but they're not required, and sometimes they're not hooked up all the way. They don't have to be.
And why are they sharing this with you at this time?
I get impatient, Darius. To some people it would be a character flaw that I'm impatient. I love my impatience because I'm the one, even as my higher self, that's sitting up there in those galactic council meetings saying, we can do better, we can do better, they're asking for more, why are we holding back? And what they said to me is, Jill, they're not holding back, we're not holding back, they're holding back. And I was like, what? They're doing this to themselves? I can't stand by and watch that. So I incarnated. I have so much love for this space. It is painful to watch somebody banging their head against the wall with a set of truths and beliefs that were never true, that keep them feeling like they're somehow like on a prison planet away from God energy. That isn't true. But we are just powerful enough in this reality to create a life where we feel that that's true, where we basically make it true. So I can't sit back and be quiet and watch that stuff going on, especially when I hear someone say, I want to feel the connection of God in my life. I can't just sit there and say, oh, that's nice, I hope you figure that out, because I know I have skills that are here right now to help them get what they want. They deserve that. There's no karma in their way. The only thing that's in their way are these false teachings and misunderstandings of who and what they are in this world. So part of the reason I get it is because I ask for it. And Darius, I know what I'm looking for. That's a huge advantage. I was very clear at the very outset of my experiencing about what this was supposed to look like. And that made me very opinionated about what it doesn't look like. So even as I was creating my systems, if you will, of classes, my team was like, so are you going to make them do that first? And it was a rhetorical question. I was like, no, they can get whatever they want. Their mastery is theirs. They don't have to earn it back. And they said, good, nice choice. We agree. So there's a lot of ways that this amazing, expanded, advanced community still doesn't have the information and the resources and the energy patterns that, from my perspective, are required to get them what they really want. But there's all those misconceptions. And I used to be quiet about those, Darius. I used to go, I don't know. I would hang up from a client and say, I don't know if that's going to go well for them. They really think that they need to have a six-figure income in order to be blessed by source. That's not even true. And they're like, but you didn't say it. I'm like, I know, because I don't want to hurt their feelings. I don't want to be a dream crusher. Now I say it. About 2 years ago, I was like, I can't not say it. So I say a lot of uncomfortable things sometimes that people don't want to hear.
I'm going to share that when you actually don't think you need that, you're free to actually receive what you need.
Amen. Amen. That's
right?
So true. Yes.
Right?
I mean, think of the examples of women that are trying to have babies, right? And they're doing all this fertility stuff or trying to adopt, and then the minute they're like, okay, we're going to take a break, they get pregnant.
Right.
That happened with me with our second child. We wanted
right.
a second child. We started to go down these extreme routes. The minute I was like, there's a lot going on in my life, I just need a break from this talk. We were pregnant within 2 weeks.
Yeah. A lot of things here, folks. This is huge. And for so many, just breathe a sigh of relief. Maybe everything you think you need, you actually don't. And then what would you do with your time?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like,
yeah.
What'd you do? We've got Deana in Indian Head. She says, I had tears of joy surface when Metatron and Jesus gave us the information through Jill. It feels like deep truths that I am finally remembering, because that's what happens, right, Jill? We remember, we activate what's already there, and it's right at our fingertips with no more effort than reaching for the other book, right? It's right there. Maria, wow, Jill is a love genius. Since we have many higher selves and they each have their own personalities, how do they decide on which direction to encourage their human? Let's do this. Maria's question I'm going to get to towards the end of the call. Let's move in right now to the activation and see what opens up, because as Jill's channeling this energy and they want to come through, I'm going to let you, Jill, just take it away, and I will sit back, and if there are any instructions we need or anything like that, just let us know, and then let's go deeper.
Okay. Everybody relax, please. Relax your shoulders. You may want to make your neck nice and tall like a giraffe, pulling your ears away from your shoulders. And let's start taking some nice deep and slow breaths. I'm going to share something with you as you're right here. I encourage you to keep your eyes closed. That there is this amazing crystalline structure. It's suspended in air, and it is literally at the core, the pillar of your inner field, from your heart to your root chakra and all the way up. It's like a teardrop sort of crystalline energy. It's plasma. It's alive. It looks like liquid mercury. It's very shiny and shimmery, and it's perfect. And it's right there within your field, helping tune your thoughts, your energy patterns, your thinking process, your engagement process, your wishing process, your wanting process, your demanding process, into a state of harmony with what we've been talking about today. Helping you loosen up a grip on needing it to be a certain way, or gripping on to truths and beliefs that are not getting you what you say you really want. This inner crystalline structure is tuned to your unique soul signature. It is unlike anyone else's. If we were all together in a room, we would probably feel the distinction between us and the others. This is part of a sophisticated system of being light on Earth. It requires a one-of-a-kind structure. Not unlike your fingerprints. Your human fingerprint is unique to you. It doesn't even match your own blood relatives. It's a one-of-a-kind fingerprint that has never been here before and will never be here again. It's just yours. And your soul signature also has this divine uniqueness, individuality to it. Nice. Okay. So relaxing into this concept that you have a structure built just for you. You have a human personality that is far more adaptable than you give yourself credit, by the way. But it is also hand-created by you. It wasn't handed to you. You made it. Even the parts of your personality that you may not like. From this divine crystalline center, it's perfect. It can be brought into harmony with the eternal light that you are. It serves very important roles, and it does make you unique. Now, some of you are probably in this space wondering, but what about we are all one? What about that? What if that was the perfect teaching to help humanity lose sight of its individuality, blending everybody into a shade of gray, not appreciating the unique diamond that every single one of you is? It would keep you looking outside of yourself, seeing if you're fitting in, seeing if you're blending into a community of your choosing, rather than looking inside your own heart and celebrating what makes you unique. Wanting to find areas where you're distinct and individual relative to others. In doing so, you embrace more of that soul signature that is you, one of a kind. You don't even want it to look like your favorite teacher or your favorite guru. Some of you have put away gurus before, and that's I celebrate that with you. You would be enchanted by what your higher self made when it made you. You'd be able to look at the most challenging parts of your life and feel not just love, but deep honor for the choices that you made, the experience it offered, not just your higher self, but the all that is. You'd be wanting to find validation of your uniqueness relative to others. You'd delight in the contrast. That is where we are more apt to see ourselves. And the bonus is that that's how we're more likely to see others. We know at a soul level that we didn't come here to fit in with humanity. We came here with a very high set of standards about what light can be in human form, and that's why we're so hard on ourselves. Do you see what we just did right there? Those of you that are really hard on yourselves, I even love that about you. Because I see your mastery when I see that part of you. I see your mastery because it is there. We celebrate. You're making more room. You're melting away truths and beliefs that kept you on this hamster wheel of chasing your spirituality. Just letting you feel the relaxed state of being light in human form with a fresh appreciation for what the heck that means and what you want it to mean. You are creator energy in human form, unlike any other. Look for those distinctions between you and others. Celebrate them. Celebrate their uniqueness while also celebrating your own. That crystalline light structure within you is unbreakable. There is no manual, so we're just going to give your brain a big old hug that it's just going to have a lot of questions that are never answerable in a satisfactory manner. And we're going to tell you, beautiful brain, you don't need to have those answers in order for this beautiful human that you are connected with to have an amazing life. Great questions, answers not required, answers not needed. Answers not needed. Okay, beautiful. I'd like you to also notice beneath, actually right alongside this pure white crystalline energy form, is this, it's like a red ruby. It's absolutely gorgeous. It could be a garnet. Make you what you want it to be. It's quite large. It's about the size of a basketball. And it's within your lower chakras. It wants to center you in your physical human journey, exactly as it is, exactly as you are. It wants you to feel the purpose and the joy of having you as your human for your higher self to express through in this world. This is fantastic that your higher self has you in this space to be you. And our question to you is, what do you want to do with that? Vision boards, awesome. Make you happy? Go for it. Some of you may end up having a ceremonial burning of that vision board. You may realize that just winging it is what angels do. You are divine, even when you don't feel it, even when you don't look like it. Nothing in this reality can change the facts that you are divine energy. This reality wasn't made for helping you see that. But they still go together. We are cheering you on with every breath. We are not judging you when we see that you are making things harder for yourself. We're not judging you. We're giving you a hug. And still, sometimes you push us away. You do not need to protect your light from this reality. It will not break. Also, this reality does not need to function perfectly for you to feel and know the light of God that is at the root of all life. Jesus accepted reality as it was, and it served him tremendously. And you can do that too. And that's probably going to involve melting away some other false notions of what it meant that you were here, that you were supposed to make this place perfect. Thank God Jesus didn't feel that way. This world was not perfect when he got here. It wasn't perfect while he was here. And it certainly was not perfect when he decided his journey was over. How freeing is that to you? That your divine light fits with everything that's going on right now and everything that isn't. So now you can just be free to be your light. And you're human in a way that beats the odds, breaks the mold, destroys the stereotypes. Because if it's not unique and distinct, then it's not you. Give yourself permission to be that creator energy. Every day of your life is a creation. What you offer, how you respond to what others offer you, that's creator energy in form. And that matters. Those little individual moments end up creating a life. So whether it's a president that you got in the U.S. that you didn't want, some of you, we can see how that would get you down. But there's purpose in how things are. Perhaps the most unlikely, and in some ways unlikable, we agree, candidate got elected to help you see that you are not dependent on an outside force in any role to make you happy or to make this world a better place. That's not their job, just like it's not your job. It is scary in some ways to realize the sovereignty that every single form of life has over itself. Some of you don't trust other people. You don't trust them with themselves. You feel stronger than they are. And you're right in many cases. But their higher self isn't worried about them. But, says your brain. But. We see what you see. We're not turning a blind eye to what you're seeing that you're concerned about. This reality offers very painful experiences. They are not deserved. It's just an opportunity. Their higher self is not in a breakdown over that situation. Their higher self energy is fine. It is possible, we've seen it done with a few others before, this way of honoring others' lives while honoring your own, without the need to rescue, without the need to save, accepting and loving them exactly as they are, and creating boundaries where needed for your own self-comfort and self-preservation. Honoring your light in this reality with every breath, with every move. We love you in ways that you probably cannot comprehend. We ask you to imagine what it feels like for us and how we love you. For it is a wonderful model, a wonderful benchmark for which you look at your own life. That will open you up to the pure, unconditional love for yourself that takes some assembly, but it feels like heaven on earth. And then you can apply that more authentically to others as well. Because you know at that point more accurately how God loves you. And you can more accurately embody that unconditional, pure source energy love in this world. Even with the heartbreak, even with the disappointment, even with the anger and frustration. We never asked you to not be human. We're encouraging you to make your light and your human go together. For yourself, by your own standards. And this is where things get really fun. Very creative and very interesting. Thank you so much for everything that you are. We hope that you understand that appreciation soon so that you can feel it and celebrate your life. Before we close here, we're going to ask you to just touch your hands, touch your skin, your flesh. Tug one of your ears. Wiggle your toes. Touch your nose. You are human. There was no out-of-body required for this expanded engagement. You were right there centered in your humanness, which is a wonderful way to go about this process of authentic ascension, the light of source within you coming to the surface of your human and being available all the time, even when you don't choose it. And so it is. How are you doing, Darius? There was a lot there beyond the words, and I hope that you guys can feel that. The words are just energy containers for a lot of them. I'm a bit in a haze, actually.
Yeah, there was a ton of energy transmission, and this doesn't happen very often, but I got knocked off the line. My line just died right when you said it was the part. It was very early on. It was the part about us not all being one. Like there was, I can't even remember. I just know, like when I heard that, I was like, whoa. It just took me off. So I got back on, and I was like, okay, this just got real, because we just opened up. We moved so much energy that literally just knocked me off the line. And I want to be respectful as people are coming back and plugging in. We always ask if you want to share or let the world know, let people know, kind of really even more so, just kind of embody some messages, some wisdom that came through to you and bring it into the physical form of typewritten comments. We love that because it lets us bring this grid onto the planet beyond you, because you're sharing your truth to the world, which is ultimately opening up a bigger and bigger container. So share with us at UWealth Revolution. That's just a simple way, a complex way to say share with us at uwealthrevolution.com/now. We want to hear kind of what came forward for you, what you're feeling, and what you felt. One person said, wow, this touches me so much, feeling some amazing energy. Another person, very, very powerful, still speechless. So keep sharing. Let us know what you're feeling at uwealthrevolution.com/now. What came forward for you today with our guest, Jill Renee Feeler? And Jill, this was really huge. As you were plugging into this, I could feel a lot of things coming forward for the spiritual folks on the planet, those in the spiritual space. It seems to be time for us to actually hold on to a lot more light for the rest of the planet. What do your guides, what does that feel like to you when we say hold much more light, and why?
Well, I guess the caution we have about that is that sometimes that's then used in a way that disenfranchises folks in this community. Another myth bust I'll offer is that this world is not a mirror for you. It never has been an adequate mirror for you. So this notion that we have, a lot of us, that we are here to restore light on the planet, I'm so glad that they brought that up in that activation, because that's a big one, that it's like this false storyline that we're here to fix and save this world. Jesus didn't feel that way. So it's a heavy load, especially with the level of separation and unconsciousness that's here. It feels like an endless task, and you know what? It would be. So the way that I would offer, I guess as an editor's tweak for us to consider, is that every single one here, and that's why a group like this would come together in this way, is that we somehow sense that we have access to this light of God that others on the planet don't know about. That's true. That's very true. That is a very accurate statement. That's why we've asked some existential questions probably throughout our lives, or for me later on in life. And this opportunity that we feel that we can do better, that there's more. And that's true. We can do better. There is always more. But that doesn't mean we were flailing around and worthless before. It's all good. But this opportunity that we have literally to be beacons of light for ourselves in our reality, and for others that see it, awesome. But for others that don't see it, you didn't fail, and neither did they. Some of us, and we've got powerful stories, Darius. I'm guessing everyone in here would have a story of, well, I'm doing great, but gosh, my spouse or my family, they just don't get it. And we feel like we're doing something wrong. It's like, oh my gosh, if I'm literally this powerful light of Source Creator God, and I can't even convince the people that are closest to me that this is a good way to do things, I stink at this, right? But that's it's so big. We judge ourselves so much. So I was shown years ago, and I'm saying this because the holidays are coming up, so this is right on time. I didn't know I was going to be talking about this. When I decided to look at my family members exactly how I am shown God looks at them, their higher self looks at them, I allowed myself that gentle, compassionate love for exactly what they are. I'm not asking them to change. I'm not hoping they get it. If they get it, like what we get, awesome. But their higher self isn't freaking out about the fact that they don't know what we know. So why am I? It's draining me of my joy.
Yes.
It's not my job to rescue my family. And I live with my 2 daughters and my husband. I can honestly, they do not want to be saved by me. They want me to be their wife and their mother. They don't want me to be that. They want a very human, down-to-earth Jill that's playful and gets weird sometimes and does this kind of work. They're not like, ooh, Jill, tell us a message. Oh my gosh, no. And I love them exactly what they are. They're not missing out on anything. They're having a great life, and I get to live in the same house with them, having a very different experience.
Wow. Yeah, this is so much, I believe, about freeing up your true capacity, because all of these things are kind of like these, I feel like these energies that we're sending off into these paradigms, these fixed paradigms that don't actually exist, and then so we actually divert a little bit of our true essence or our true connection, our true possibilities. Christine says, great waves of emotional release. She says, I snivelled most of the way through, but now it is extremely powerful. I am feeling big shifts. Another person says, wow, I am feeling huge shifts coming in from this work. Another person said, let me find right here. Oh, we got a bunch more come in. Another person said, wow, I am feeling extremely open, happy, really great. Another person, mind-blowing in an absolutely amazing way. I am so ready for this. This is so powerful. A lot of interesting comments coming in, a lot of people processing as this energy keeps coming in and people keep feeling more and more things. I'm feeling that I now have the ability to stand up and speak and that my work is just getting started. Really powerful stuff. Keep sharing with us at uwealthrevolution.com/now. A lot of powerful things coming in. Jill, one of the things that we're going to be talking about is a lot more, actually, that is going to come in. You have actually 12 hours of these powerful vibrational shifting energies, and in fact, much more than that, actually some very powerful live help that's going to be offered for people to actually move into this before the first of the year in this holiday season time when people have challenges, a lot of older energy paradigms that they're running, and something really special that we're going to do for the first 10 people that go deeper. So I want to talk about all of this because there is a lot more, and as I share this is the first time that we really have shared some of these ideas on U Wealth Revolution. You may want to write down the date and the time, because I think you're going to remember as more and more people in the spiritual community start to plug in to this new wave or this new portal that's opening up through Jill, because these are things that are shattering the old ways of being and actually opening up some really fast ways that people can transform. And I want to talk a little more about it. We're going to go through some more of the revelations that Jill's uncovered. And let me share where this is at. It's going to be available, what we're going to be talking about, Jill's deeper work, at uwealthrevolution.com/divine, DIVINE12, uwealthrevolution.com/divine12. And it's really about getting into, coincidentally, divine balance. The page says, Jill, you say you're going to create a new frontier for human enlightenment, and in essence, for those ready to go deep into the divine human codex, this is an opportunity. And many of you know we've opened up some amazing new portals here at U Wealth Revolution. Where were you when we first introduced some of the amazing ideas here first many years ago that now form the backbone of transformation? Well, this may be very well one of those days you want to remember. And Jill, as people are going to this page, uwealthrevolution.com/divine12, and we're talking about this new wave of energies and what you're uncovering and what's coming forward, let's talk a little bit about just in general this work and what you wanted to bring together for people. This is absolutely totally new, fresh, and unlike anything else you've ever done. Tell me about generally what is the balanced heart and the new frontier.
Okay, so it does relate to the Divine Human Codex that we talked about earlier that Metatron was showing us. We're going to be doing this together, you guys. when I tapped in with my team and I said, what should we do for U.S. Revolution? Because I like to do new things most of the time, especially if my calendar allows it. And they were like, oh, we've got something big. And the minute they showed it to me, I was like, okay, this must be a very advanced group, because normally I would only be doing this like in my annual retreats with my clients.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, we're not holding back. I get it. So what they showed me is that there's another level of this divine balance. It really does move us beyond these paradigms of the divine masculine and the divine feminine, patriarchy and matriarchy, and it does help us settle into our own humanness and to the human grid system at the same time, this concept that, yes, we are a human gender, and yet our light is beyond gender. Our light is this whole, complete, beautiful, balanced energy that we're going to help our minds get itself around, so that we can let in more of that frequency of light into our humanness. It's more gentle. It's more discerning. When they were talking about, I'm like, okay, so what is this going to do for us? They said the sense of purpose that we will feel will be off the charts. We will have increased discernment. We will have upgraded connection with our individual higher selves. We will have more balanced emotions, increased peace on the mental and egoic levels of self. I have a really strong brain. I'm not going to say I'm the smartest person here, but I picked a really, really nice brain to work with in this reality. Darius, that helps me with my work, because I can interpret literally, and I know another strong brain when I see one, and I know how it can hold us back. So I take all of my skills and abilities, and I'll be offering it in this experience. We'll have Q&A time so that we have more of that interaction and dialogue. I'm so excited. So there's this, it's like I don't want to go too much into what we'll be doing, because I don't have notes, you guys. The way that I share this stuff is kind of how I shared today. My team is like, okay, is everybody ready? Is everybody here? And then we go. I have yet to be disappointed.
Wow. We're going to talk a little more about some of how it's going to work, because there's some interesting things coming forward. The first piece is going to be a live component that's going to happen before the end of the year. You'll see the dates there. And these are 90-minute calls that are going to be helping people to actually integrate these energies. Did I get knocked off again? Can you hear me, Jill?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay,
and
I just heard a big click, and I was like, oh, there we go again. So whenever we talk about this, it's like, for some reason, the grid or the systems go, well, we're not ready, you just overloaded us. But, okay, this is what we're going to be doing. So there's that piece to it, which is going to be recorded, and you're going to get replays, and you're going to have some time for some help. So if you want Q&A, you want some dialogue, you want some help, plus there's going to be a dedicated Facebook community. And tell me about how that's going to work, because part of this, if you bring in a new idea or a new wave of light, there's a point where we begin to acclimate, and I know people feel like, okay, I've got to integrate this, or I need help holding this space, or I've got a question. You will help them to integrate that, correct?
And what I've actually found when I've done these dedicated Facebook groups, we actually help each other. And it's just the perfect beckoning to that inner mastery is when somebody asks in a question on Facebook or something like that, and you're like, oh, wait, I think I have something to offer there, and I totally welcome that. So it really is, the Facebook group adds another layer of bringing it into form, bringing it into our everyday lives, and really being able to meet others that are doing similar things and engage and make friendships. And it's a really powerful part because of the fact that this is very cutting-edge work that we do together. And the balanced divine is going to be a huge layer that our teams are so excited about. We're at a new edge, and this group doesn't like edges. So in this experience, these 3 calls that will all be recorded, they will be shared live and fully recorded, plus the Facebook group, we will be creating together this system for more divine balance that we've never had before in humanity. So then, Darius, the other bonus is that I did a program this summer that's now fully recorded and in archive. It's called Outwitting with Tico. And when I was talking with your producer about other things that we could also offer, because the live calls, we wanted to make sure everybody had enough time to plan for those, so those don't start until I think it's December 6th. But I like to over-deliver, so I wanted to make sure they had something right away when they purchased that was very satisfying and yummy and very deep and very out there, because, again, I saw this group's energy. So Outwitting Wetiko is unlike anything I have ever done before. We channel, most spiritual messengers, we tend to channel, Buddha, Jesus, the angels. We channel all these higher realms. And then when we get into this reality and try to apply it, we start to kind of trip over ourselves. Okay, wait, that didn't work the way I thought it was. Why is that? I was being shown that I interact with the consciousness of unconscious in this reality all the time. I see it, I have conversations with it, so I see how this reality was wired to keep us from our light. And I've had so many powerful engagements with it, because it's like a higher self energy of an unconscious energy that functions here. It's so hard to put into words, so I hope that you guys are tracking with me. But I said, well, we should probably do something at some point. And then my team was like, Jill, please do it. Please just do it. Just trust us. It's going to be amazing. You're probably going to talk about things you normally don't want to talk about, like death and what happens after death and the way this reality works with incarnations. But we have to get this information out there. Will you please do it? And then just trust that those that are ready for it will get it. And I was like, oh, God, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And as I was sharing those calls, I could see that it was actually helping us be more savvy in our light in this reality. It's like we got the code, like the cheat sheet for a video game. We got the cheat sheet. It's so, and now I get it. Now, as I was getting it, they were like, now do you see why we wanted you to do this? Because light is awesome. And I love to help us access that pure light of God that I know that we are and help us see it more clearly. But applying it here, that matters just as much. So that Outwitting Wetiko series, which I think is like 12 hours of information that's already ready to go for you, is unlike anything I've ever done before and unlike anything that's ever been here before. It is because we deserve it, you guys. We've been, like, just like that question that somebody asked earlier, we ask the good, tough questions. And you guys, we deserve answers.
Wow. 12 hours. This is kind of a hard question I should answer, but for people that are saying, okay, this felt good, this felt expansive, and I want to go deeper, and they're on the page uafterrevolution.com /divine, DIVINE 12. I kind of short fused because Michelle wrote in and said, oh, holy wow, this was good. And I was like, oh, okay, wow, what happened to her? I want to know, Michelle. It's at uafterrevolution.com /divine, DIVINE, divine 12. For people that are wondering, that Outwitting Wetiko, at the end of that 12 hours, there's going to be some things that absolutely open up for people. How should they listen to that? Like an hour at a time, 10 minutes at a time, one paradigm just like released and disintegrated at a time? I mean, that's a lot of energy right there.
It is, and each session is very powerful. So I have at times encouraged people to, because when we were sharing it live, it was every 2 weeks, I think. I think it was a Tuesday night every 2 weeks. You guys, I trust you. I really do look at you as the masters that you are. So if some of you are like, I'm just going to go, full bore and just take it all in this weekend, or gosh, it's Monday, right? They could probably be all through it by Thursday. If you feel not well, I mean, like, oh my gosh, I need to get outside. You guys, this is a very savvy group. If you need to take your shoes off and go get your feet in the grass in Gaia, then do it. For others, it will probably feel more satisfying, especially if your brain likes to be a part of the process and okay, wait, I think I understood what she just said. If you're on a mental understanding level, I don't encourage that you go through it all at once. Maybe one a day max. And then listen to them again. Because even this call, Darius, I mean, if we all listen to this call replay one more time, we would get another totally other dimension of it.
Yes.
It's just what we are doing, you and me, all of us, We've been craving a level of multidimensionality. And for many of us, it's like been unsatisfying. And then, like you were talking about earlier, that soulfulness speaks in this work. So there's a part of us that at a soul level is like, okay, there it is. That's what I've been waiting for. Hallelujah. Somebody, okay, this, I get this. Somehow I know this. It's like I know this at a soul level, and somebody also in a human bodysuit is saying it to me. I'm remembering. So those recordings are, you'll have lifetime access, by the way. I've had different classes I've done, and people listen to it again a year later, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's like everything changed for where I am now. We're magic. Yes, we are.
Wow.
We are magical.
Who is this for? And I'm going to let you and your sources answer that question.
This is for those that meant it when they said they wanted to be light in human form. Not just water cooler conversation. Not just, feeling really out there and expanded relative to the rest of humans. Those that meant it when they said, I want to be light in human form. And I'm going to incarnate at a time where that is not going to be easy. It's going to take some probably sophisticated maneuvering for me to remember and get past the BS in this world. But I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to do that. Here we are, right alongside each other. We said no to gurus. We said no to organized religion. We knew that the light of Source Creator was within us, and we were right. And we were relentless in pursuing and making that true for ourselves. Now we're at a point where we have even more. For us to create together, for us to make it real, for us to make it true, for us to make it make sense. It's helpful when it actually doesn't avoid the big questions. It's just I ask big questions too, and I'm in a situation for whatever reason where I get the answers because of the way I wired myself. But I totally honor the fact that some are like, no, I cannot go further until I have this question answered. It's actually not true though, because my brain doesn't get all the answers it wants either, and I'm still expanding.
You're also going to do something that's pretty powerful. You're going to give for the first 10 people, and you are going to actually give people some one-on-one time. Tell me a little bit about that, how that's going to work, or just kind of what may come through there. Or, you know what? I'm going to just allow people to just feel into whether that's for them, and they can read it on the page. It's at uwalterrevolution.com/divine, D-I-V-I-N-E, and a lot of people wanting to jump in to get that. I think people know what's going to happen there, actually. I don't think they need to really go very deep. I think they get it. I think they get this at a deep level. I can feel it. Here's what I also want to do. For people that have questions, it's at uwalterrevolution.com/divine, DIVINE 12. It is a $500+ value. It is discounted 69% off. It's $157. There's even a 30-day money-back guarantee, 100% satisfaction. And for people that go deeper between now and Sunday at midnight, if you go deeper now, chances are you're going to get that one-on-one time with Jill, which will be amazing. But you're also going to get what's called legend-making material. Tell me about this. This workshop that I want to share uses updated codes and activations and divine perspectives of something you're calling the pioneers of the Platinum Age.
Yeah.
We could have spent a whole time talking about that, or maybe we have, but what is the Platinum Age and what is it? What are we doing here?
Okay, so with the Golden Age, there's this normal kind of, everybody's probably seen those wheels where there's the Golden Age that comes back around again. And I was saying, kind of lamenting to my team, and I said, oh, it just sounds so boring when you guys say that it's like or I hear that the Golden Age is coming around again. Yeah, the Golden Age. And I said, well, I don't, and they said, really? And they're normally leading me, right? In like a leading the witness kind of situation. And they're like, really, why is that boring? And I said, it just seems like, okay, you come here, you do it again like you did before. It just seems boring. Yeah. And they said, so how would you like it? And I said, well, I think it would be really cool if we were here to up the game and make it better than any other Golden Age we've had. And they were like, yeah, sounds like you. Sounds like this group. And I said, we can't call it the Golden Age then. And they said, we agree. And we all unanimously said the Platinum Age. So this group is literally coded and wired as our soul signature in a human form to expand, to call BS as we need to on things that aren't serving light in this reality, because that's the goal. The animation, the human form of light that we are. So that message is a very nice bonus. It has nice activations. I believe, if I remember correctly, it has a recorded Q&A. And that Q&A, even though it's recorded, there's a lot that happens on the assimilation levels during the Q&A parts of calls, even if it's recorded. It's like the human brain says, okay, yeah, this part's for me. And then it feels like it's being fed. And that's important because you don't want your brain feeling like it's getting left out of this process, or it will fight you.
Wow. There is so much here, and a lot of things that, as we've been doing, just really shifting, really moving into incredible balance. I want to share some of the things that Jill has shared. People have written in or explained happens when they do this. Overall enhanced sense of purpose in being divinely you, increased discernment, upgraded connection to higher self, more balanced emotion, increased peace on the mental and egoic levels of self, feeling significance of being human right now, the comfort of remembering why you choose to be human, deeper sense of empowerment as your soul signature in human form, more room for joy and confidence in your everyday life. And one thing that stuck with me was when you said, or we said, that you didn't come here because you are being punished or there is something to fix or re-experience, i.e. karma. You came here for something else. Why did we come here, Jill? And we'll begin to let people ponder and move into that as we close out this beautiful call.
Okay. Earth is not a school. I'm going to repeat that because it's very important. Earth is not a school. Earth is an experiencing place with a group of, especially with human life, we have a lot of creativity. We have just enough consciousness to create our own truths and beliefs and decide what we believe in, and we create a life based on those beliefs and truths. That's a foundation. What we forgot about is that those truths and beliefs can be highly misunderstood, tainted, or just plain wrong, and that you can change them whenever you want to. Truths and beliefs are not static. They are 100% fluid. And that would have been terrifying to me in another version of myself 15 years ago when I was pretty much an evangelical Christian. If somebody, I would have said, oh, that's relativism. That's dangerous. No, that's creator energy. So we incarnated a group like this, I am shown, that it wasn't like, oh, okay, I've got this thing to fix. I better get back in there. All right, wish me luck. I hope I get it right this time. No, we incarnated with a beautiful set of plans, and then we knew there would be free will, and we dove in, said, I'm going in. My intention is to be light in human form, and I am responsible enough to figure that out as I go, as mastery in human form, and I pray to God I remember that while I'm there, and if I don't, then I'll have an amazing experience anyway.
Wow.
Notice I didn't say save, I didn't say rescue, I didn't say my objective is to get all my relatives to meditate and love God like I do. That was not on the list.
Well, thank you so much. This is incredible and a lot of amazing updates coming in. I'd encourage people to listen, plug in again, go deeper, and just listen as you're going to pull in more and more of these new energies and codes as so much is changing. And part of what we've been sharing today is the work of Jill Renee Feeler, and we shared probably 7 or 8 rebellious true energy these are what we shared earlier. These are energy bypass perspectives that literally bypass some of the old energetic channels and conduits that our humanity has been literally, in many ways, kept pinned down by. And so as we bypass some of these energies, some of these containers, we actually open a whole new ceiling of possibility. Simply beautiful. I'm reeling, I'm sort of getting tongue-tied as the energies keep coming in. But Jill, this is amazing. Thank you so much for being here and sharing today. I'll ask you one final thing. For someone really discouraged or maybe feeling like it's not possible for them, what would you say?
seriously, sister or brother, you're giving up on yourself? Wow. I can't motivate you like I want to, but I see you as so much more powerful than you are. And I can see that your brain has interpreted facts of this reality as you don't count, or you're getting left behind, or you're not doing it right. And all of those facts have a totally different interpretation available to you, but you're not accessing it right now. So I can see why you're depressed, or why you're feeling hopeless or helpless or just mad or bitter. Those are choices, right? But there's a whole different story that's available to you as your higher self is looking at your life.
Incredible. Thank you,
That's
Jill.
your doorway. You're welcome.
Wow. Wow. The doorway. I felt it. Absolutely incredible. Thank you for being here. Incredible. Incredible stuff. That is our guest today. What an amazing session. Jill Renee Feeler, you are fully divine. You need not chase your spirituality. And we unlock so many different ways, paradigm shifting ways and energies that could shift things in your life. And we actually opened up some incredible ways that you can go deeper too. If you want more help or you want to go deeper into this next wave of energy teaching, it's at uwealthrevolution.com/divine, DIVINE 12. What was your favorite revelation today? What was the favorite bit of incredible wisdom that came through? And if you're listening in or you're trying to actually go to the special offering, you've been on our page for a little while, just refresh your page. The link actually changed on that page. If you've been listening for a while, just click refresh. Tara says, I was having a little trouble. Don't worry, it's still open, and you can just refresh your page. You'll get to it. It's uwealthrevolution.com/divine 12. Thank you, everyone, for being here. It's been an incredible couple of weeks, and the energies and the new possibilities keep coming in. Some of you are just saying, my brain is wonky. That's because we just opened up a whole new doorway, and it is a doorway that will allow everyone to be free. When we shift the perspective, whatever has been holding you back, essentially, remember, it's part of an old perspective that is keeping you fixed in place. If we don't understand at times, or we feel a bit wonky, or we go, whoa, that just sort of left me spinning, that means something fixed began to disintegrate. I'll leave you with a final thought. What if our entire reality is like that grain of sand on the beach that we've been looking at, thinking is the whole cosmos, when in reality, it's nothing but one grain of sand in a beach filled with godzillions of grains of sand. You choose what brings you the most joy and truth, and that will be your path to freedom. We'll be on tomorrow. I'm getting wonky as this comes in. It's at uwealthrevolution.com/divine, DIVINE 12. Much love. We'll see you in the next UL session. Bye, everyone.